Hey guys, subscribe for daily content. And if you're shopping for gear, make sure you check out the description for the newest items at some of the very best online retailers. There's also links for some of the items that I personally recommend. Thanks! What's going on YouTube? Metal Complex here and welcome to this week's episode of The Knife Guy. If you're new to my channel or you just came out of some weird corner of the internet and you have no idea where you are or who I am, I'm a knife guy, knife user, knife collector, knife enjoyer of many sorts. We are all knife guys and, well, assuming knife guys and gals, if you're watching this video in this super weird and crazy EDC and knife related world, we all go down our own unique paths, but oftentimes those paths intersect and we experience a lot of the same stuff. What I like to do in this series is pick up knives that are, here lately, they've all been mine, but in some cases, other people's knives that have been lent to me for review. Just pick them up and just kind of mess with them, give you guys something to sit back, watch, and or listen to on this hopefully beautiful Sunday morning, afternoon, or evening. Holy crap, guys. What episode is this? 125? I can't remember. 125. I do these once a week. That means I've been doing the Knife Guy, and I have never missed a Knife Guy. I've been doing Knife Guy for 125 weeks. However, I have no idea how long that is. Wow. If you were around for the first Knife Guy episode, let me know down in the comments. If you're new, there's a whole playlist, guys. There's a whole playlist of Knife Guy. If you like these long, drawn-out rambles that I do, if you like to, you know, prop your phone up on the window in front of the kitchen while you're doing dishes, that's what I do when I watch YouTube. Just listen, right? Or wherever your phone is, wherever your TV is. If you like to do that, if you like to listen to stuff like this, I got 125 episodes of this on a playlist on my channel, so please feel free to check it out. But wow, lots of episodes. Can I tell you guys one of my favorite things in the whole world? Because if you don't know the goal of this channel, if you can see the number of uploads that I have, you'll know that it's well over 2,000. I love making content. I also like to be consistent. I made a promise a long time ago on this channel that I would be uploading daily content, and I have not broken that promise. It is now a habit for me. It's now a what do you call that? It's not, what's another word for plan? Like a routine. It's a routine. I like doing it. I don't feel good unless it's done. And I feel good while I'm creating the content. So it's a lot of happiness stacked on top. But my goal with this channel has always been to inform, to, of course, keep it fun and make, you know, keep myself happy. I like to do this. It's fun for me, but also to give information. My information isn't always 100% accurate, but I try to make it as accurate as possible. Judging by the interactions on this channel, I'm assuming most people have been happy for the 3.5 years that I've been doing this. So my goal is definitely to inform. But I also, you know, when an idea comes up for a new video, I love doing it because I want there to be a resource out there. It's not just like a video that I've never done, but especially when it's a video that's not on YouTube. I want to do that so that there's information out there for people seeking specific types of information. There's nothing more obnoxious than wanting to get information on something and not being able to find anything on the internet, right? Or when you're on YouTube and you just can't find a video of something. I love covering that so that people can learn. I remember what it was like to be new. I remember how frustrating and snobbish people in the knife community could be sometimes and how gatekeeping they could be when it came to information. It's like if you don't already know, then you're not good enough to get through the gate, which is stupid, right? So I've always been as welcoming as I possibly can for new people. One of my favorite things in the whole world, however, is when somebody kicks in the doors of my comments section with no information whatsoever. They're like, I watched 2 videos and you seem to be... Stop! You watch 2 videos and you're going to judge my channel. You're going to make an assumption on me, the type of information that's here. My favorite thing in the whole world is when one of you guys who's been around for a long time goes, actually, he did a video on that, and then you link it. Or you just say, actually, he did a video covering that. Usually, I love that because it means people are aware, like, no, he has talked about this. You don't have all the information, and or maybe it's not a judgment on me. It's an assumption that I don't know, and I don't know everything. Far from it, right? I'm always learning every single day, and I'll continue to learn until the end of this channel. But I love it when you guys are aware of a video that I've done that goes over the topic at hand, whatever's in question, in great detail, and you guys will be like, nah, he's done a video on that. You know, I love that because then it's for that person's information. They get the right information, which is the goal. It's not about my ego and like, yeah, I got him. Stupid guy thinks I didn't know about that. I do. It's not about that. I mean, truthfully, like, yeah, the feeling's there, but the most important thing is that that person gets the information. Hopefully it's the information they're looking for, and everybody else who comes by that comment, maybe wondering the same thing, also gets directed to that, which is ideal, right? So that's my favorite thing in the whole world. One comment that came up here recently, I would say the thing most often in question on this channel, and by the way, I'm not sure if I've done a Knife Guy episode on this yet or not. The thing that comes in question the most on this channel is, does this guy do negative reviews? He seems so happy. And I've also built this reputation as that really happy, excited guy, that really happy, positive, excited guy in the knife world on YouTube. I love that. I love that I'm known as the positive guy, right? Some people know me as the guy who barks back sometimes in the comment section. I definitely do that. But I like the content. If I think basically the context of that is if somebody's, you know, crapping out toxicity for no reason in the comment section, then yeah, of course, right? Of course I'm going to say something. It's always funny when people think that they're like, I have the right to be salty in your comment section, but you do not have the right to be salty back. I am entitled to an invincible shield. And like, no, you're not. No, you're not. I'm going to come at you with just as much salt, right? If that's the intention, right? But anyways, I like to be positive. Anyways, I love to be positive, right? Yeah, that's the goal, is creating content that people, you know, enjoy, find happiness in. I look at a lot of knives. Nowhere near as many knives that are actually out there. Let's talk about the ratio of knives that I think are interesting. And I'm not gesturing towards anything in particular. I think all this stuff is interesting. Let's say here are knives that are interesting, and here are knives that I don't find interesting. This is way heavier. As far as stuff that exists in the knife world, there's way more crap out there than there is good stuff, which is part of the goal of this channel. Number one, I don't want to do content that is boring. I also don't want to cover things that I know I'm going to hate, because why, right? That's the idea here. I want to look at a lot of stuff, and I want to be honest. I'm always going to be honest, but I generally lean a little more towards the stuff that I enjoy. I like being positive. I like showing you guys things that are good. I don't like, you know, highlighting a thing for being bad. Here's a thing that's bad, right? A lot of people, whether you guys want to admit it or not, I'm one of those people who doesn't like to always admit it, but I will. We're not watching these videos all the time because we want to find out. We want to create an informed decision before we buy. A lot of us have already bought this stuff, and we're watching videos for reaffirmation. Tell me I'm wrong, because I generally would buy the knife first and then watch a bunch of videos until I found one where the guy was like, this is the best thing in the world, right? That's what we do. Yeah, I think there's a lot of reasons to intentionally cover things that you think are good, but I also think it's very important to cover things that are bad. If they are extremely popular for one reason or another, and there's an element that makes it not good, right? If something starts to take off, perfect example, what Pete did, how many times do you guys watch my channel and you get the ad for the, you know, the Japanese knife with the hole in it, and they're showing it so sharp, and there's like these guys who obviously have been paid off, and they're like, oh, it's so great, right? And they talk about all the BS forging techniques. If you have not seen Cedric Ineda's video, where he exposes the truth about it, go watch it. I'm so glad he did that. I'm so glad that he broke that down, because every time I saw that ad, I was like, this is hot garbage. I already know it's hot garbage. There's no question, right? But a lot of people were misled by that, right? It just seemed like the way that the ad was done, and it was getting all this praise, right? Pete broke it down and destroyed it, and it needed to be destroyed. It needed to be destroyed. I'm generally not all about, you know, destroying companies or anything like that, but that was bordering false advertising, if not, you know, blatant false advertising. Very important that somebody get their hands on that and dish out the justice that it deserved, because there were a ton of people being misled. And Pete did a video on that, and I said, it's so great that you did this. I love that. It's very important that things like that exist. I also, in the same token, though, I don't want to dedicate a huge chunk of this channel to just seeking out things that I don't like and just being negative, like for the sake of, or presenting it as like, it's, for the sake of honesty, I have to do this. Well, yeah, I mean, it is good to be honest, but I'm not going to prioritize being honest about knives that I don't like. Generally speaking, if it's a knife that I don't like, whether it's number one, something I'm not interested in, I'm just like, it's boring, it's vanilla, it's the same thing I've been seeing. I mean, no, it's not doing anybody good. Or number two, I just already know that it's garbage. There is a massive overabundance of garbage out there, and the truth is the vast majority of the people who are watching my channel, you guys know how to pick and choose a knife that is good or not good. The knowledge and awareness of this community, number one, people in this community have always been intelligent. I've noticed that since the beginning, right? That's why I always say, if you're new to my channel, like, this guy goes off on a lot of tangents. Yeah, dude, welcome to the channel. I've always said since the beginning, if you're going to start a YouTube channel, do not try to trick your audience. Do not try to mislead, or don't even try to tell them what you think they want to hear. Do what you like and be honest about it. YouTube has a great way of attracting people who think the same way as you and repelling people who do not. It is not your obligation, as much as some people might think. It is not your obligation as a YouTube creator. I'm speaking not to myself or not to the people who are just, if you're just watching. I'm talking to you guys who are considering starting channels. It is not your obligation to please every single person in the world, right? You should create the content that you want and be honest about it so that people feel comfortable coming, the people who enjoy your content and the way you present it feel comfortable coming and staying, right? Be honest, it's important. And you know what? If you want to create a channel that's dedicated to bringing to light all the faults of the bad knives that are out there, fine. If that's your thing, then do that, because it will be helpful for people who are seeking specifically that information, right? I tend to favor the stuff that I like. At least, the process of this channel is, here's a list of things that I am looking for. I posted on the community tab and on my Instagram. If you guys have these things, I'd be interested in checking them out because they look interesting to me. Then once I get them, right, if it's absolutely abysmal and it's hot trash, and I find out that I just hate it, there's a chance that I won't look at it at all, because I don't even want it in front of people. There's always people who go around and look at videos. Again, the whole, people seek the information that they want to hear. They will decide subconsciously that they want this knife, and they will just go around looking at as many videos as possible. As unlikely as it seems, you guys know I always link the knives down in the description, whether I like the knife or not. If I don't link it, people complain. If I do link it, then people are like, oh, you're a shill. But anyways, there's always the chance if I show a knife that I hate, one of those people who just doesn't really care how much this guy in the rectangle is talking about how much he hates it, that he's just going to go ahead and buy it anyway. So the whole purpose of the review, which was to say, don't buy this, has failed in some circumstances for that person who's like, I don't care, I just want a link to buy it, right? So the way that I look at it, sometimes with certain knives, if they're absolutely abysmal, and maybe they're not, they're not advertising it incorrectly, it's just really a really bad design or a really bad quality. In the case of the knife that Pete reviewed, perfect justification. That was borderline false advertising. It was being shoved down everyone's throats. We all got that ad, right? And they were just like, hey, we just need like 0.05% of the people who watch this ad to consider buying it, and we can make a quick buck. That was their goal, right? And it was just bad. So yeah. But a knife that is, maybe it was an honest effort, but the end product was just not a good design and the quality wasn't very good and I just didn't really like it, then I don't want people to buy it, but I also don't want to destroy or assist in destruction of that company. Now, knives that have good merits and some bad merits, and maybe there's a potential there, then yes, I think it's very important, as I often do, if you watch my channel, to circle back and connect all of this. Yes, I have a reputation for being very positive, very happy, and showing you guys a lot of knives that I think are great. The comment that ultimately was the foundation of this video was somebody saying this guy seems to only do positive reviews, right? If you think that, the simple truth is you haven't been watching my content. It's actually becoming increasingly rare that a video makes it into my recommended playlist. And if you'd like to look back, remember I do 2 videos a day consistently. I do not miss that. If you look back into my most recommended playlist here recently and look at the dates on the videos, you'll find that they've been spreading out. It's becoming, I'm more particular now. I'm a little more judgy, having handled more and more and more, which is generally, that's the natural progression of somebody in my position. The more that you handle, the more picky you get, the more critical you get. It's less likely that something will end up in a recommended playlist. Oftentimes a video will conclude, it's okay, but it's not great. It's not something that I want to celebrate, right? Or, wow, it's great, I'm going to put it in there. And then every now and then it's, no. I see what they were going for. Here's what I think is okay about this. Here's what I'd like to see improve, but this is in no way, shape, or form a knife that I would recommend, and I suggest you look elsewhere. There are hundreds of videos on my channel where I do that. And it's easy to get confused when you watch my content because I laugh and I joke and I'm real positive, right? That's my style. But that was the comment in question, and there was no, I didn't have a video like this to explain. Yeah, it's not actually the case. I don't categorize the knives in my channel, the ones that I have done negative reviews on, because I don't want them highlighted, but they do exist for people. The reason is because when you come to my channel, I want you to be directed towards things that are good. And this has been beneficial. The vast majority of the time, the people who have come to my channel to find something that's good, they have found it, and they have voiced that. Thank you for telling me. Thank you for directing me towards this. I love this. It's what I wanted. It's dependable. I've been using it for months, and it's great, right? That's what I want. I don't want people coming to my channel and going, I watched your review of this knife. You didn't say it was good, but you directed me towards the video, so I watched it. I decided to buy it anyway, and I hate it, so I wasted my money. Well, that sucks. You came to my channel and you ended up spending money on something you didn't want. That's not what I want, right? So I do not highlight those videos. I don't prioritize them in playlists, but I still leave them out in the YouTube algorithm so that individual people who have no idea that I exist, if they're just searching, right, they can find it and go, here's some information that was helpful that I didn't know, and this guy, whoever he is, does not recommend it. At least, maybe they don't know me well enough to care about my opinion just yet, but it plants the seed. It gives information that, that I think is beneficial in the sense that it directs them away from it, right? So, yeah, I do prioritize positivity, absolutely. But if you've somehow landed on this video because you're wondering, right? If you're a regular viewer, obviously that's not how you got here. But if you found this video, in some roundabout way because you assume that this channel does not do negative reviews, you need to watch my content. I definitely do. I am not a 100% positive reviewer. I'm sorry, a 100% positive reviewer. The content is, of course, divided up between discussion topics. Not everything I do is a review. A huge chunk of what I do is just unboxings and first impressions, which oftentimes are different than the end result, as you guys know. I do roughly 5 knife reviews a week, Monday through Friday. They're always 9 a.m. Central Standard Time. And then I do 5 unboxings at least throughout the week. The weekend generally consists of, here's what's new, here's a discussion topic, let's talk about locks, let's talk about blade steel, or we do Knife Guy, right? So the majority of my content is actually not a review of a knife. I would say as of now, the total amount of legitimately positive knife reviews, meaning I am celebrating this knife and absolutely recommending it to people, I would say in 2,000 videos, considering 5, there's probably 200 to 300 positive knife reviews out there, which is not that much of a stretch considering how many good knives we have now in 2021. As far as negative reviews or, reviews that come out as kind of an average, like, it's okay. And then, ranging down to negative. That probably consists of about 100 to 150 videos. That's just how it is. I do have a playlist that is dedicated to cheap knives that I don't like, and you'll see that there's not a lot of videos on there. I think, and the reason I leave that one up is because I think that is the realm in the knife world where, you know, some shady companies they're targeting. That's where people most often get manipulated. Let's make a cheap knife. Let's skip on materials. Let's skip on production. Make it seem like a really good value, and then dump a bunch of money into advertising that is pomp and frill. That's the area that I think people get most manipulated. Now, I still avoid accepting knives that are in that territory for review, but periodically I'll just end up with one that seemed like it was interesting, and then it ended up being total garbage. And the more that I look into it, the more I realize this is really hot crap. So it ends up in that playlist. Now, is that a perfect system, right? Could it be better? Probably. I mean, everything could be better. Literally every source of information that you find could be better or more individually catered in some way, shape, or form. But again, it's impossible. Not only is it not any creator's obligation to cater to every single person and their mindset in existence, it's impossible. Not possible. The goal of this channel is to bring people in from as many different walks of life as possible to share in the joy of the knife world and highlight the things that I think are actually good. When things are bad, I will always be honest about it. You might have to dig a little bit to find, negative reviews since I don't create playlists, but, I upload every single day. So there's plenty of examples, especially if you watch the video all the way through, which I know the vast majority of people don't. It's hard to, right? You got a guy who makes 20-minute uploads, right? Most people aren't going to watch for 20 minutes. I know a lot of you do, but a lot of people aren't. They're going to drop off at 6 minutes, right? So they get through specs, and then they hear like, MC is really positive. They're like, oh, I bet that video ended up being positive. More often than people would assume, it does end up being a not so positive review, but that's the thing. That's what I want people to know. This channel's foundation is honesty. Number one, because I hate the thought of something dishonest coming out of my mouth. I talk so much that just in one video, I talk so much and create so much content that if I was going to dedicate a certain amount of brain capacity to falsifying information just for my own benefit, I would slip up all the time. It's much easier to just be honest, right? But at face value, the channel does appear overly positive in a biased way to some people. So I guess this was more of an informative episode. And the main message here is it's hard sometimes to be honest it's hard to critique things, right? Especially if you can imagine my position. I have people messaging me saying, I think you'd love this. I love this. I really want to send it to you. And I try to tell people, hey, I try to at least deliver the message on the channel. It's kind of like what Nick does. And I've always respected Nick for this. He says, there's no guarantee of a positive review. I'm going to talk about things that I like and things that I don't like, right? That's what it's going to be because that's what it has to be. That's the only way for me to feel good about the information that I am presenting to an audience, right? It does suck when somebody sends me something that they love and I'm like, I don't like this, right? I always feel bad. They're waiting for their video, right, to come up with their knife. And then I talk about some things that I like and then I'm like, but overall, I really don't like this. It's not good and I don't recommend it. I always feel a little bit bad because then I'm like sending their knife back and I'm like, thanks for sending it to me. I didn't really like it. But I found that most people understand, right? It's just the way that it has to be. It can be hard to be honest about things you don't like. You got a close friend that wants to show you his new thing, right? You're a friend who gets a new car. Friend that gets a new car. Check this out! And you're like, oh, wow. Right? Now, in that situation, maybe being overly critical is not helpful. They've already bought it, right? With a knife, like if my friend, many times in my personal life, I've had friends come and go, hey, what do you think of my knife? And maybe they spent $30 on it. At that point, I'll be like, I don't like it. You should have bought something else. But if somebody comes to me and they're like, I just bought a brand new $30,000 car, what do you think? Even if I hate it, I'm not going to be like, you wasted 30 grand. No, because at 30 grand, it's probably still going to do what they need it to do, right? A $30 knife will not often do exactly what they expect it to do. So I think it's kind of a pick and choose your battles. This is a lot easier for me, to be honest, right? Even when I get things for free, I think that's the part of this that people will dissect with the most aggression. It's probably the stuff that he gets for free, or the stuff that he has the affiliate links for. That's the stuff where we can't be totally sure. I've even got examples of that. Tons. More often than not, the knife I'm reviewing in a negative way does have a link and was sent for free. That doesn't change my... I'll talk about merits. I'll always talk about like, hey, here's what's good, but it won't affect the final outcome. And it's very important to me that people know that. But I know that not everybody has the opportunity or the time to watch every single upload that I do. And it's much easier to just conclude at face value, he's probably like this. But reference video, reference point video, checkpoint video, right? That's what this is. I hope you guys got general entertainment out of this. If you're new to the channel, I hope you got some insight on how my channel operates in the way that I think. I have always operated this way. I will continue to operate this way. The channel has never been anything different. It has always been exactly the same. Quality, of course, has changed, and the way that I put things together has evolved, right? Especially the types of knives that I show on the channel have evolved, but the general foundation and mindset of this channel has always been the same, and it will always be the same. As per usual, I hope you guys were at least mildly entertained by this. If you weren't, I'm sorry you wasted 30 minutes of your life watching it. But anyways, if you did enjoy this video, leave a like. Be sure to follow me on Instagram at metal_complex. If you'd like to check out my other content, I do, of course, have lots of videos of knives that are either expensive or inexpensive that I do or don't like, so check those out. And if you enjoy all my content, go ahead and click on that Metal Complex logo right there and subscribe, because there's definitely more coming. Thanks again for watching, everybody, and have a great day.